Welcome to Dr. Whitley's method of balancing the oral system. In this video, you will see a full-length consultation that Dr. Whitley will have with Jim. We often call this a functional interview as well. This interview has three components. The first one is for the patient to fill out the extensive questionnaire. Number two is to have a cephalometric x-ray taken. And number three is to connect heart to heart. The functional questionnaire is twofold. The first is to get the patient to see that their symptoms and their ailments, the fatigue that they have, are all connected. It is not just their lot in life or genetics or something that they must endure as they grow old. We reject that. Dr. Whitley believes that the symptoms and the ailments are the body's way of telling you that something is wrong. Just as a car has the engine light that comes on that tells you that something is wrong, the engine light is not the problem, but the engine light that comes on is telling you that something is wrong. Most of the symptoms are all related and can be alleviated once the balancing of the oral system is achieved. Here is a sample of some of the questions of the extensive questionnaire. It starts out asking if they snore, if they wake up gasping for air, or wake up snorting. Do you have restless sleep? Are you a heavy sleeper? Do you have leg pain? Do you have leg cramps? Do you have GERDs? Do you ever wake up with a start? Do you have a headache when you wake up? Do you have a raspy voice upon waking? Do you have dry mouth? So they're starting to talk about the sleeping symptoms. Then he gets into headaches, back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, foot pain. Do you have asthma? Do you have difficulty breathing deeply? Then he starts asking questions about their emotional state as well. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel on edge? When you drink caffeine, do you feel less on edge? That's a key question. Do you have reduced breathing at times? So on and on. There are almost 90 questions here for the patient to fill out, and it is a very great fact finding and help them to see how their symptoms can be all related. The second part of the consultation is taking a cephalometric x-ray. The Ceph x-ray is the side view of the throat and the jaw. There are two positions that they take a picture of. The first is their natural state as the patient is breathing normally, and then the second picture is with their lower jaw protruded, extended out, and with it comes the tongue, so that the patient can clearly see that their tongue is in the way. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and they do not lie. And so they can see where once that tongue is moved forward, that it is opening the airway, and then the first picture shows clearly that the tongue is blocking their airway. If you do not have a cephalometric x-ray machine, you can refer out to an orthodontist, and we have an instructional video for that orthodontist for the margins that we need and how we need this picture taken. Your patient can then either bring it to you or have it sent to you. The third part of the consultation is connecting heart to heart. It is imperative that the patient feels that you truly care about them and that you connect with them heart to heart. The consultation is not just merely fact-finding and gathering. It's more like reconnaissance. Just as the military recon will go out into the field to gather information, to survey, to inspect, and how best to get the job done, so the consultation, as you are connecting heart to heart, you're doing a little bit of both. You are fact-finding, but mostly you are there to help that patient see that most of their symptoms, their ailments, are all related to balancing the oral function. As Dr. Whitley speaks with his patients in this consultation, he is helping them, he's guiding them, pointing out dot to dot, helping them connect the dots and seeing how this is all related. It is almost like a guide who is helping you across the river and pointing out the stepping stones so that you can clearly and safely get across the river. So too, Dr. Whitley is your guide. He is guiding you to help you help your patient. So let's listen in to how Dr. Whitley will speak with Jim on this consultation. This one is an hour long. We will have cliff notes for you so that you can begin to learn how to give a consultation with just a few of these questions. But there are key questions, and I will come in during this hour-long video to point out to you these stepping stones that Doc is pointing out for the patient. Balancing the oral function is not just something you do with your mind, it's something you do with your heart. If you do not connect heart to heart with your patient, it will be much more difficult for them to have long-lasting results with the appliance and the therapy. Because you have to remember, there's a heart wrapped around that tongue. So get your pen ready, open up your ears, open up your heart, and let's listen to how Dr. Whitley leads Jim across the river to an abundant life.
Okay, Jim, congratulations, you survived.
Thank you. Yes, I did.
Jesse, got your pictures. They'll be coming in soon.
Jesse's a great photographer.
You can put your hearing aids in.
Okay.
You're among friends. I've got them in too.
Yeah.
I think.
That way I won't sound like a
I was bragging on them one night at dinner, and 14 people around the table. I said, "Listen, y'all be careful because I'm hearing what you're thinking." The girl next to me looked up and said, "You know, you can't even see those things." And
That's what I like
got self-conscious, and I'd already lost one of them.
Oh, really? Oh, gosh.
All right. So, thanks for filling all this out.
Okay.
We're going to go through it.
Some of them I didn't know how to answer.
Well, you know, it looks good to me. With your CPAP, you don't snore, and without it, you do.
Right.
Gasping, you don't do unless you're missing a CPAP.
Right.
You've been told you stop breathing at night, and you don't when you have the CPAP.
Right.
And you've been aware that there's no difficulty sleeping. Do you have difficulty sleeping when you don't have the CPAP? Is it a different sleep?
Yeah, so I'll wake myself up more
Okay.
often.
So I would say always.
They told me mostly it's to a semi-conscious state where I don't really...
Okay. Not good sleep. Okay. So, semi-conscious.
But occasionally I will wake up.
Okay. And if you don't have the CPAP, is it difficult to go to sleep? Oh, thank you.
No.
Okay. How about as far as...
Staying asleep is difficult, but I can go to sleep.
Okay. Staying asleep is difficult.
Yeah.
Once with the CPAP, but multiple times without?
Right.
And multiple without. Okay. So, with the CPAP, are you still kind of restless, or is that just with the without it?
My wife says I still move a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's very good to be aware of, because we'll make a hypothesis at least that your body's trying to keep you from going to deep sleep for a good reason. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Did you hear that? Dr. Whitley is telling Jim that his body is not allowing him to go into deep sleep. It is a survival mechanism. It's the autonomic nervous system that is stopping Jim's body from achieving full deep sleep for fear of never waking up, perhaps. But it's that autonomic nervous system that is kicking in, and we will explain that later.